So I feel like this is a collective that is starting to shift their mindset, starting to shift their belief system here. Okay. I feel like this is a collective that is starting to be open to a new cycle in love. Maybe not sure where this new cycle will come from. For some of you, there is someone new who could be knocking at your door. For some of you, you just moved on from something from the past. And maybe you really want something new to come into your life, or you're hoping for something new to come, and maybe you're a bit frustrated that it hasn't come yet. So I feel like I'm channeling a collective that has just released a past energy of some kind. And you're really not sure what to expect moving forward. But there's this big part of you that's like, I'm excited about what's to come. Maybe you feel in some ways like you're not sure if you're ready. You're like, am I ready? I'm pretty sure I'm ready. Am I ready? You go back and forth depending on the day. But I do feel like within this collective, you do want things to be different this time. You definitely do. You want to move forward in love, but you don't want to repeat past cycles. You don't want to be foolish. You don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to end up in similar karmic relationships or similar circumstances. You really do want to like move forward, like to an entirely new type of relationship and experience and outcome. It's like you want the relationship to be able to grow and evolve. You want a love that feels true and a passion that feels strong, but you also want a stable foundation. And you don't want to compromise. So for some of you, there's a little bit of feeling trepidatious, cautious, if you will, because you're super excited about what could come. But then there's this other part of you that's like, oh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. You're nervous. Tell me, why is this collective nervous though? What is this cautiousness? Okay, for some of you, it's because after this time of releasing this karmic relationship, maybe you looked around and realized your life actually was quite wonderful. There were many things in your life that brought you joy. You also recognized that there was many things that brought you contentment. And you really started to tune into that and feel much more grateful. And as you expanded upon that gratitude, you started to recognize that it is a risk to bring someone into your world. It is a risk to allow someone to be part of this life that you've consciously cultivated. So I feel you walking forward intentionally and again consciously with awareness. But there's this hyper focus on, I want to make sure the love that I invest in is real, or like the partner and the potential is real. Some of you might feel like you got duped in the past because you fell too hard for the wrong people. Just saying. We're not going to talk about those people because I feel like this love reading is trying to encourage me to look forward. Okay. But yeah, some of you might have felt like, yeah, you fell for the wrong people. Maybe those people rejected you. Maybe you feel like you can't trust your instincts now. You're having a difficult time feeling like you're worthy or like the right partner is going to come towards you. But then I also feel like that comes from a limiting belief. That comes from a historical place. What do we need to know about love moving forward? Ooh. Oh. Right off the bat. Some of you have an Aries, specifically an Aries, could also have Earth placements. I feel Aries Sun, could be Capricorn Rising. I don't feel Capricorn Moon. I feel Capricorn Rising specifically, okay? This is somebody who comes in with intention. This is somebody who feels like protective, powerful. Somebody that you will feel like you can trust upon meeting. This is someone as well, like who's very mature, almost austere, established, successful. It's like the moment I started channeling this person's energy, everything slowed down. I feel like this is somebody who's going to help you slow down. I get the impression within this collective, you've felt for a long time like you really wanted to move forward again towards the right partner, and maybe you moved quickly in love. But this is someone who's going to help you slow down, and will actually feel good to slow down with them. Like they'll help you build trust. They'll help you feel safe to open up your heart and do so progressively. Like slowly unveiling yourself to them. And not to say that there won't be romance, because there will be. But I feel like the difference here is that this is a love that feels safe. A love that feels safe. I feel for most this is an online meeting. Okay. I heard 2 weeks now. That won't be for all of you. I'm going to provide some confirmations, but I feel this person coming in pretty quickly for a lot of you in this collective. Okay. I feel within this collective, here's some confirmations. In your chart, you could have fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I feel for many of you, you were already manifesting this person even when you were connected to this past person. Okay. So you could still be connected to the past person to some degree, but I feel like, again, you've already let go of the relationship itself. I feel this person as well as someone, again, like I said, you've been subconsciously manifesting, but someone you've also dreamt about. So recently, within the last few weeks even, you've had some type of dream of someone coming into your life. And this is someone who I feel for many of you is your perfect match. Someone who will balance you out, someone who will complement you, someone who you will feel that sense of unity with, because you both have shared feelings. Everything is very mutual. And I feel even more so than the depth of the feelings that you have and the chemistry that you have with this new person. This is somebody who I feel makes you feel safe enough and secure enough to truly be yourself within the relationship. I feel the initial M is significant and S is significant. That could be your initial, okay? Again, like I said, fire energy within this collective. There's something in this collective about you working in a role in which you help people. So that could be your career or a job or something that you've been manifesting. I also feel something about you having a very unique sense of style coming through, okay? I also feel within this collective, you could speak multiple languages. That's coming through very strongly. Okay, or you could be learning a second language. Maybe you even know more than that many languages. I feel in this collective as well, yeah, maybe you've always felt like the black sheep or like you didn't fit in. Like you always felt ostracized. For some of you, you have been ostracized or persecuted. And you have had to find home within yourself. But I feel this energy, I feel this person providing you this sense of safety, this sense of security, this home. And more importantly, what this person does is they uplift you. They make you feel confident. They make you feel appreciated. They make you feel valued. The song, Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher. I feel for many of you, you have never had a relationship with someone who was your supporter, your advocate, someone who bolstered you. Maybe you had energies that told you were attractive or beautiful or said, wow, that was a good time we just had. Nothing like this. Not someone who you could fully depend on, not someone who was a ride or die, not someone who was that rock, that stable force within your life. I don't feel like you've ever experienced anything like this within this collective. And what you need to know is that you are now ready to receive a love that feels this true. Okay, you are now ready to receive. For some of you, this is connected to the Lionsgate portal. For some of you, you specifically have Leo in your chart. Okay? So any advice for this collective to manifest this new relationship? What do we need to know? Some of you, the reason why you have had to be patient is because, and I say this with love, there was some type of victim complex that you had had for some time. And maybe again, because you had felt ostracized or persecuted, there was a part of you that was always trying to win people over or be chosen by people to prove that you didn't need to be shunned or ostracized or cast aside. But I also feel that the lesson was that you needed to recognize that even you wouldn't choose those relationships willingly. That you didn't even want that person, you just wanted their validation. And I know we're getting deep within this reading, but I feel like this is a collective that needs to hear this message, okay? This is a collective that needs to know that you are ready to move into a state in which you feel much more confident and in which your partner reflects that. I feel as well this energy of releasing any type of guilt around letting go of this other energy. Because again, I feel some of you feel guilty because in some ways with that past person, you felt like you saw through some type of ego. You felt like you saw through some type of shell that they created for the outside world. But I also feel like it's not your job anymore to help them heal or help them evolve. So for some, you need to release some type of guilt here. And for others, it's not even about that past person. You need to release some guilt around showing up authentically. Some of you feel like you're not able to take up space still. You know, some of you still have some challenges in terms of having your voice be heard, asking for what you want, you know, just commanding that dominion. Because of your upbringing, because of the environments you've been in. It's like you never were made to feel like that space was legitimately yours or it was valid for you to be able to take up space. But I now feel this encouragement to release any guilt that you have around getting what you deserve, getting what you want, and you will, and you will. Okay? So, final advice for this collective with this new love. There's so much to discover here. I feel with this relationship, it's not so much about the potential for the future. There is that potential, of course. But it's about you experiencing this relationship from a state of new eyes, like from this new state of disposition that you have consciously cultivated and created through your healing journey. It's about you not feeling the need to rush something because you need to have assurance or control to know where the future will hold or to know where things are going. It's about you being able to experience a relationship progressively, and a relationship that is balanced, and learning how to trust when a partner is able to create that balance with you. I feel this energy of persevering through this difficult time, because I feel a difficult time still for this collective, but it feels like the only last modicum of a shadow that exists within this collective is this insecurity. This insecurity around, why did I have to go through everything I went through? I feel that in this collective. I feel this, what I like to call a compounded shadow that has been created over a time of having to experience so many karmic lessons and so many difficult circumstances, where it almost feels existential, where you're like, oh, why me? Why have I had to go through this? Why have I had to experience this? And in essence, what we have to allow for in this moment is an ego death. And I say that lovingly, as someone who's experienced that same ego death, as someone who's been, hands and knees on the floor, asking the universe for a respite, okay? In that moment, we surrender. In that moment, we allow for a new cycle, and we are reborn into a new identity that can then give birth to said new cycle. Okay, in that moment, we accept the wisdom and the enlightenment that is the gift of the journey, instead of looking at it as a source of pain and discomfort. We look at it as a source of truth and insight and wisdom. We shift our perspective from saying I was downtrodden, I was beaten down, to I was educated, I was given powerful insights, and I was able to evolve and transform through said insights to the extent we're on the other side. I am no longer confused. I'm no longer giving my power away to others. I'm no longer seeing other people as having more authority or more ability to validate my truth. I am no longer seeing the world as out to get me or out to trick me. And if you are still in this place in which you see the world is out to get you, or you see people are all tricking you, or there's no one that you can trust, you are on your way. You're still in this collective, but you need to continue to take steps forward and address the grief that you're feeling. Sometimes when we're still grieving a cycle of the past, we can be in this protective state in which we do not trust, in which we are very guarded, because instinctually, there's a part of us that knows that we need to focus all of our energy at this time on healing. All of our energy at this time on observing, acknowledging this grief of this past cycle so we can put it to rest. So if you are feeling a sense of guardedness, if you're still feeling like you can't trust, it doesn't mean that new love isn't coming. It just means that you need to give yourself the gift of focusing your energy on yourself. And recognizing that every relationship we are given is an opportunity for us to grow and expand. I don't care what the definition is of the relationship. I don't care if you call them a twin flame. I don't care if you call them a narcissist. I don't care if you call them a soulmate. I don't care if you call them your boss. Whichever name you want to put on them, okay? Whichever definition that you give them, they are an opportunity for you to learn and grow and evolve and become an even more powerful version of yourself. And I feel within this collective, you need to take this time to reflect and take this time to be able to replenish the energy that was lost and find your passion again. You will find your passion again. Once you shift your perception away from thinking that no one in the world appreciates you, that no one is ever going to love you in the way that you love, once you shift that perception, because I feel most of you in this collective have said those things. No one's ever going to love in the way I do. No one's ever going to appreciate me in the way that I appreciate others. If you have said those things out loud, then you're in this collective. I feel like we need to shift our perception, right? Because that is that victim mindset. No one's ever going to do this what I do. No one's ever going to. So in that essence, we have to ask ourselves, why are we continuously giving love to those who cannot reciprocate? We can take our power back. We can take our energy back. We can take our focus back. I feel strong water energy as well in this collective, specifically Cancer coming through here, okay? And Cancerian energy, as we know, as much as we love our Cancerian friends, sometimes there's this case of them loving so effectively, loving so well, that they have this expectation that others will love in the same way, when it's entirely impossible to love like a Cancer does. If you don't have that strong Cancer placements, you are not going to be able to love in that same way. So what the Cancer does, they take it personally, right? They take it personally and start to think, oh, the world's out to get me, or no one's ever going to love me in that way. Well, it's not possible to love in that same way, but they can love in a different way. They can love in a different way. So this is not about Cancerian energy specifically. This is about shifting our perception away from this mindset that is entirely, rooted in this victim mentality in which we're like, no one's going to do this. No one's ever going to love me. No one's ever going to trust. I'm just going to guard myself forever. That energy is actually repelling balanced relationships, because when we're in a victim-like energy, how would it be possible to be able to call in a relationship in which the two of you were in a state of equivalency? Because we are, in essence, creating a power dynamic. We're saying, I'm the victim, the other person is the perpetrator, right? They're the victor, I'm the victim. That is a disparity. That is essentially energies that are in two different planes. So there's no way that you could call in a relationship that is balanced, that is harmonious, if you are consistently perpetuating these narratives and speaking these types of stories or truths into your existence to the extent where your perception is continually centered around not feeling like anyone's ever going to see you, acknowledge you, or love you. I promise you, if you love yourself and you acknowledge yourself, it's only a matter of time before the right people do. We must not focus our energy on the wrong people and trying to figure out the reasons why they couldn't. We must find a way to accept. We must find a way to do so with love. And we must find a way to move through the process of grief to the extent where we can find our strength, our power, and our excitement, okay, towards moving forward. So I just heard love is all you need. I feel, again, this is love of self. And I also want to remind this collective that love is all around you. You may not feel it just yet, but you will soon. And I feel within this collective, you are in the midpoint of a difficult journey of healing. And you are starting to create, but you have not seen the output just yet. That is a place that can be precarious. Similar to how an artist will create a masterpiece. They have to trust that process. Like, they have to have a lot of faith and confidence in the finished product. Because as they navigate along the process, things can change, things can evolve. They have to hold their vision. They have to hold their confidence. This is the same advice within this collective. Hold your vision, hold your confidence. You don't know how you're going to get there. You don't know what you're going to create. But you know that you are active in the state of creation at this time. And know that the universe is excited to call in a partner for you within this collective that is going to care for you, that is going to tend to you, that is going to support you, that is going to love you in the way that you deserve to be loved, that is going to show up for you in the way that you deserve someone to show up for you. Okay? And for some, I just heard, make space. Make space in your life for someone else to support you. Make space in your life for someone else to love you. In this collective, I feel in the past, maybe we haven't had space for someone to come forward because you were the person who identified as being overly independent. You know, if no one else is going to get it done, I'm just going to get it done. You took care of everyone else around you, including yourself, usually last. But you weren't necessarily creating space to receive. You weren't creating space for you to be able to have a partner come forward and support you. And maybe you even consider that a weakness or a flaw. Acknowledge, in essence, that is also an emotional unavailability. When you say, oh, I don't need help, or I don't need support, or it feels weak to ask for help. There's a fear around vulnerability there. Because for you as a child, asking for help was dangerous. Or asking for help was something that could create a heightened environment of chaos or judgment. So for many of you, that's this energy we go back to. It's, I'm just going to do everything on my own. Or you had a parent that modeled that for you, who said, we have to do everything for ourselves. No one's ever going to help you. You got to do it for yourself. So this is a collective that is doing heavy inner child healing, past life healing, interdimensional healing. And I feel within this collective, you are survivors. You are extremely powerful. And I feel like this is the last shadow to acknowledge so you can move forward. The song is I Will Survive. It's a double-edged sword in this collective because you've had to be strong to survive, but at some point being forcibly strong prevents other people from being led into your life. So in this moment, you are asked to find the balance. To find the balance in which you maintain that state of resilience, which is one of your most profound gifts, but also allow yourself to slowly open up and share a softer part of yourself with the world. And maybe it's not just romantically, maybe it's in your friendships, maybe it's with your kids, maybe you feel like with your kids you always have to be strong and powerful and tough, you can't show that softer side. Or maybe again it's with your parents or family or your siblings, and with romantic partners, it's like you always have to be strong. You can never ask for help. You can never open up and share the truth of what's going on within your psyche. But that has prevented people from being able to see the most beautiful part of you, which is the part of you that just shows up as you are. I feel within this collective, you are so strong, you are so powerful, but don't use that badge of honor as a guard that prevents other people from reaching you. Don't use that badge of honor of strength as a shield to prevent people from connecting to the vulnerability within you. Allow people to see that beautiful, soft, fragile part of self, because that is the most complete connection that you can have. That's the most unconditional love that you can experience. A love that is true and real and genuine requires you to show the parts of yourself that maybe you feel like are unlovable, that maybe you feel like do need support, that have vulnerability, that has a perceived weakness. That weakness is actually another form of closeted strength. So, I hope that message was helpful for my collective. Sending so much love, positive energy, and abundance. If you enjoyed that collective message, 1111 down below. I know that was a heavy message to start off